Welcome along to the Proper MMA podcast. Sam and Joe back with you for another UFC pay-per-view show. And well, what card we've got coming up? We've got the final fight of Dustin Poirier's illustrious UFC career going up against Max Holloway for the third time for that BMF title as Dustin bows out of the sport. And we've got some bangers on this card as well, littered with good fights. Paulo Costa, Roman Kopylov, the co-main event. The king of welterweight, the mythical fighter, Kevin Holland is back for his, third, fourth? I don't even know, fight of the year so far. 42 days on from his last outing. King Kev is back against Daniel Rodriguez. Will Patricio Pitbull be able to make it second time lucky in his UFC career after a dismal first performance? He faces Dan Ige, and we've got Daniel Selhuber against the veteran Michael Johnson. Making up the main card, plenty of fights to discuss with myself and Joe over the next half an hour or so as we pick draft teams ahead of this one. Joe, how's you feeling about the card? We always kind of get the sense of whether we're excited or not. What's the feeling?
Yeah, like you said, excited. I think obviously always great watching Max Holloway, my favourite fighter. So buzzing. Dustin, obviously a top 3 or 4, 5 fighter of mine as well. So it's really excited. This is a rematch going back quite a few years now, when Max originally tried to move up to the lightweight division. He looked a bit small then, but now he's naturally putting on size as he gets older and stronger and more muscle. And we've seen him against Gaethje. I think he's now ready for the step up. Really excited. Some great fights. The only thing I was laughing about is the fight order. Like the co-main event, we've got Paulo Costa, who's coming off a 2-fight losing streak, and then we've got Marvin Vettori on the prelims, who beat him in the past. And there's, like you said, Kevin Holland always deserves to be on that main card just for the way he is. But then like you said, the Johnson, Zellhuber, some couple of weird choices in the order, but you know what? They're all good fights. I'm not complaining. I am excited about this one, Sam. Let's get stuck in.
Yeah, potentially a few sleepers on this card, but I suppose we don't have the necessarily standout co-main event that we do on some of the other pay-per-views. Paulo Costa back, but let's get stuck in to the draft. So we each pick 5 fighters each. It's a snake draft, and we normally pick someone who's going to go first. I can't remember last time we missed the last one. We missed the biggie for International Fight Week due to some other issues, and well, I'm struggling on my phone today, so we're just about scraping on air for this for this card. But Joe, I can't remember the last one we did. I think I actually won it though. I think
you did.
Not being big-headed, but I think I just sneaked by. I would have tried to load it all up, but computer issues. But I'll let you go first, seeing as I did get the hand raised last time, and you can kick us off in this UFC 318 draft.
I like it. Yeah, no, I appreciate it, Sam. I'm going for the second fight of the night, so nice and early. Hopefully, you're still awake for this one. Maybe before you hit record and go bed, get a few fights in. And I'm going for Bruno Ferreira. He's probably one of the biggest odds, so it's an easy pick for me. I'm not proud of this one. Normally I like to take some risks, but I think this is a banker. He's against Jackson McVeigh, who is 6-0. But Bruno Ferreira's a great fighter. Had some big knockout wins in the UFC, 4-2 in the UFC against Jackson McVeigh, who was 6-0. But he's not had most of his fights are against fairly unknown people. It's his first fight in the UFC. I think this is a massive jump up. We laugh about jumps and people coming from different. This is a lad who's been building up, who's starting his career building up 6-0, going against a very savvy middleweight who's had some big wins. I'll just think he's beat just That's not. He beat Phil Horde, who's had some highlight reel knockouts. Dustin Stolfus, he went really close with Abus Magomedov, who just got the submission. And he's beat RoboCop, who's now obviously that was a big one. I was trying to remember off the top of my head. I should have made some notes, but he beat RoboCop, who's now obviously doing really well. We've watched him beat some of our English products and others, and he's on a good fight win streak himself. So that we're talking about a high level fighter here again, who is UFC caliber, who's gonna be dabbled around that top 15 if he gets on a win or two. This is just too big of a step up. Very tough for Jackson McVeigh. You take your opportunity, so I can never write anyone off who's coming in and giving it a go. But too big of a step up for me, Sam. Bruno Ferreira, my first round pick.
Nice, yeah, I like it. I think he was boxed, wasn't he, against someone else originally? Alice Garov, I think it was. So yeah, and McVeigh, I think I think he's been due to come in a couple of times and that fight's fallen off. But yeah, it's a tough start for McVeigh with that fight, but he'll be looking to take that opportunity. My first round pick, I'm struggling for the standout. I'm going to go, I think, though, for Vinicius Oliveira to beat Kyler Phillips. Like Oliveira, 3-0 in the UFC. He's looking good. Got a good win last time out against Saeed Nurmagomedov in what was a fight of the night in February. So he's fresh, having already fought this year. He's beaten Ricky Simon. He's knocked out Bernardo Sapage as well in his UFC tenure so far. Got a knockout on the Contender Series to earn his contract as well. I think he's a really good prospect, Oliveira. And I think he can get past Kyler Phillips, who is decent. He's 6-2 in the UFC. Defeated by Rob Font last time out. Last October was his last outing. He has beaten Pedro Munoz and Barcelos as well, dating back to 2023. Barcelos obviously has got a bit of form since with a couple of good wins over prospects, and also beating Cody Garbrandt last time out as well. So, but I like Oliveira. He looks good, looks powerful, and I think he gets the job done against Kyler Phillips.
I like it. Yeah, that was going to be my pick. That was my second choice. If you left it, so you've took it off the board, straight into round two. Sam, it's back to you.
Back to me. Yeah, I'm going to go for a fighter that's making only his second UFC outing, and it's going to be Ateba Gautier to beat Robert Valentin. I'm going for Gautier. Fighting, he's from Cameroon, but he fights out of these shores in Manchester top team. Looks a really good prospect. Really like him. His debut, he came out, I was going to say fast. He got a first round knockout, but it was a real patient display. And I think that's vindicative of the Manchester top team approach. They were calling him with the knockout that he got of Jose Medina in that first fight, kind of a mini Ngannou. He's absolutely jacked for his weight division, fighting at middleweight. He is a big boy for that division. But I kind of likened his early performance to Lerone Murphy. Very patient, very tactical, waiting for the right opportunities. Potentially, with the powerful kind of striker that he is, as he goes higher, we're going to see his grappling tested. It was tested in the Contender Series fight that he won a little bit, got a stoppage there as well in the second round. But Valentin, finalist on Tough. He's gone 0-2 in the UFC so far. Had a tough outing last time out against the young prospects. I'm trying to load it up now, the wrestler. So really, he's had a bit of a tough baptism. Torres Finney just absolutely wrestled him. It was a split decision, that one, but it was a bit of a bizarre one. I think there was a boxing judge as the third judge, and he gave every round to Valentin in like a protest vote because it was such a wrestling heavy performance from Finney. But I think Gautier, Valentin's going to come out. I think he's going to look potentially to strike. I think he's a bit wild, bit chaotic, likes the chaos of it all, and I think that's going to play into Gautier's hands. And I can see the knockout coming first or second rounds with the patience that he showed last time out. So Taylor Gautier to go 2-0 in the UFC, fighting out of Manchester, for me as my second pick.
I like it. I'm stuck on my next pick here, and I think I'm just going to go a bookie's favourite. And his name is a rising contender. All the videos and all the breakdown I've watched, he gets mentioned as a fight to watch for the future. He's only 26 years old. His name is Islam Dulatov. He is he's a German mixed martial artist. He's how many fights has he had in the UFC now? He's just come off the Contender Series. Apologies, that was it. And he had a big elbow knockout. It went viral. They're all saying how good he is. He lost his first ever fight in MMA. The rest of the time he's been undefeated since then. He's come into the UFC and he's against Adam Fugit, who's 36. Probably on that back end of his career now. He's had a turbulent 2025 with having two. This fight's been rearranged once, and he's also had a fight earlier on in the year rearranged. So he's not had a fight this year. His last fight was against Josh Quinlan, who sadly isn't the highest level of fighter, and I just don't know. And that was his only fight in 2024, and then he lost to Mike Malott after that. So. He's won one in 2 years now, year and a half. I've never been sold on Fugit. I watched the Quinlan fight. It was good enough, but everyone's raving about this Dulatov. The highlight reel. I can only go off the highlight reel. Oh my god, I can't speak today. Dana White Contender Series moment, which went again viral, incredible. He's 26. He's coming for everyone, and yeah, he's people who know more about MMA than me has been talking about this guy and excited for his debut in the UFC on a page for a while now. So I'm going to go with them. Islam Dulatov, my round 2 pick. So
nice, and a former Versace model as well.
Oh, nice! I like it. Great.
On the catwalk, looks the part. He's looking cool. Just looking at his Insta, he looks a bit of a cool dude. So yeah, could be a future star for the UFC if he can back it up at the big show.
It's back to me, Sam, and this is where I had my fun. I wanted to get 2 bankers in there because I'm not on a good run at the moment, and I think I take too many risks in the early rounds and don't go for the bankers. So I've got my 2 bankers hopefully locked in, and this is where I go for a fighter who's not everyone's favourite, but I'd like him. The Italian stallion, Marvin Vettori. His nickname's the Italian Dream. I call him the Italian Stallion. I like him. I like him. He beat Paulo Costa in the past. He's had some good wins. He's coming off a loss. I think that's why everyone's negating him against Brendan Allen. But I think Vettori's a very strange, awkward fighter. He poses issues because he's big, he's thick, he's strong, he's wide as he is tall. He's impossible to knock out. He doesn't get wobbled. He's got a chin like an absolute rock. And I think he's well rounded enough in every area to beat Brendan Allen here. I think he'll be too much. His stand-up's not pretty. You're not watching a Marvin Vettori thinking, here we go. But you're watching it thinking you're going to watch a man who looks like he's from Lord of the Rings. Sorry, Marvin, but a man who looks like Lord of the Rings. Go in, be tough as anything, keep going, keep standing in front, wrestle, grapple. You're going to watch a well-rounded fight. And I think he's too good for Brendan Allen. He's still young. We've seen him in the division a while now, obviously, against the title fight with Adesanya, which he didn't do too well. He's wore the pants the wrong direction. You always get a few funny memes with Marvin, but I like him. Something about him. I like him. I followed him a while, and yeah, too good for me, Sam, against Brendan Allen here. Brendan Allen's coming over a loss to Anthony Hernandez. He's lost to Nasruddin Imavov. He beat Chris Curtis, which obviously over the last 2 years, this was in early 2024, but obviously that's aged pretty well. But other than that, I'm not too impressed. He got a big win over Paul Craig, who, if you've watched any of my commentary over Paul Craig. I think unless he gets that submission, he don't like that stand up. You're not beating Marvin in the stand up in terms of toughness. And I think you're not going to be able to get the TKO knockout. So I think Marvin's here going to go for a decision win, and it'll just be too much. That's my opinion for the Italian dream, Marvin Vettori.
Yeah, it's one of those that this fight I've kind of stayed away from it a little bit, but Vettori, yeah, it's an interesting fighter. But obviously coming into this, the theme is that his brother has passed away, and he looks and he kind of put everything into it. His training as some of the bits that I've seen with him, and he's kind of, whereas we saw Anthony Smith towards the end of his career when his coach, who was really close to, passed away. Kind of suddenly he kind of went the other way really, and we saw in that fight that he wanted to take the punishment, and he went the other way, where it seems like Marvin has put everything into his training, and that's what's keeping him going. That's what's keeping him and getting him through, this real tough time, the grief that he's going through. So I'm expecting a huge performance from Vettori this weekend, and also these two have got a bit of backstory, a bit of a fisticuffs in a casino not too long ago. So there's a bit of bad blood there between them, and I do fancy Vettori. So I think that might be a nice tidy pick from you. Back to me now.
Back to you, Sam. Round 3.
I've got to go for the man at welterweight, the mythical fighter Kevin Holland, 170. If you've seen this show before, you'll know 170 Kevin Holland for me is a top 10 guy. If it's up at 185, just don't even bother saying his name. But he just looks revitalized. Just watching some of the videos this week, he looks real big for 170. He looks fast. He's kind of shown that in the two fights that he's had since he's moved back down against Vicente Luque and Gunnar Nelson. And this just seems, it feels to me like a little ploy from Kev or the UFC. They want him, he's the way he talks, his activity. They want him to be in this top 10 of this division. It's stacked. There's real narratives with some of the fighters. Obviously, he wants to fight Colby Covington. There's other narratives there for Kevin Holland, in this division as well. Joaquin Buckley, obviously now campaigning at 170. Them two have had some bad blood in the past. Kevin stopped him at middleweight. So I just think picking off another veteran in D-Rod, Daniel Rodriguez, who is in a little bit of form himself. He beat Ponzinibbio in May, so this is his second outing of 2025, which is unusual for him. He's normally a kind of start of the year, end of the year kind of guy, certainly over the last few years. So he must be feeling decent in the gym. He beat Alex Morono before that, split decision win against Alex Morono. You're looking at that thinking, are his best days behind him? That's kind of the fight that he's winning off, losing to Gastelum, to Ian Machado, Gary, to Neil Magny. But I just think Kevin Holland's just in this rich vein of form. He looks good. He's fighting well. He looks happy. He looks focused. And I mean, that's those combinations together. That's where you want to see Kevin Holland. And he's looking dangerous for me. And I think he beats D-Rod. And marches again on towards a big fight at 170, whether that's Colby, which should be fun, or Joaquin Buckley, 2 would be fun. But there's some fun fights for him there off the back of this fight for me. So I'm kind of thinking Kev Holland, stoppage win as well.
I like it, yeah. To be honest, I was going to go Kevin Holland in that round 3, but I thought I can't steal him for you again. I stole him from you last time. If you're a loyal watcher of the show, Sam's been, like you said, I think Sam's made a living off Kevin Holland picks either way, and I couldn't take it off him. So yeah, it's round 4, Sam, now, and I believe it's back to you.
Ooh,
it's tough.
Where do I go here? This is tough. I'm gonna go. I think I'm gonna go for Daniel Zellhuber to beat Michael Johnson. As you said, maybe a strange placement on this card, the opener. But Michael Johnson, obviously a veteran in the UFC. He's 39 years old now. He's fought a who's who across his career. He's got a win over Dustin Poirier back in the day. You know, he's fought everybody. Look down his resume. He's fought everyone. He's 15-15 in the UFC. The end is getting close. Is he going to end in a positive, or is it going to be a negative? But I think you might need a couple more wins after this. I think Zellhuber, as prospects go, is probably a level above the resurgent wins that Michael Johnson has had. He knocked out Ottoman Azatar in December. Before that, beat Darius Flowers in a unanimous decision. But before that, his form wasn't great. Lost to Ferreira, beat Mark Jacasey, lost to Jamie Malarkey, lost to Clay Gruida, lost to Thiago Moises, Stevie Ray, Josh Emmett. He's losing quite a lot of fights. That's going all the way back to 2019. So you kind of thought that his days were over. But I think, you know, those two fighters that he's got wins against, I think if you look at Zellhuber and the way he performs, his length in this fight as well, he's going to have a decent reset advantage, I believe. He's got a good 4 or 5 inch reach advantage here, and he fights well, I think, from the outside, Zellhuber. I think in the modern MMA class, I think he's kind of that step above, like I said, of where Johnson has found his wins of late. His 3-2 UFC record for Zellhuber. Lost to Esteban Ribovic, which was at the Sphere. That was a real close fight, razor close, that one. It was a fight of the night, absolute war between those two. He's got a win over Francisco Prado as well, another good fighter also on this card, who I was kind of looking at as well. And he's got a submission win of Giagos and Donata. He defeated him as well in a 3-fight win streak that he racked up. And I just think he's just a step above Johnson. And I think he can get the job done here. Placement, beat a veteran, become a bit more of a star. You're opening up the main card. It's there for him. He's got to take this opportunity. Plenty of great fights for Daniel Zellhuber in this lightweight division, but he's got to get past Michael Johnson, and I think he can do it and potentially do it in style as well.
Yeah, I like it. I think he was like, you just never know with Michael Johnson, do you? As you were describing there, that's the reason I stayed away from it. Zellhuber's had his, like, not fraud check, but his loss where he's on the rise up, and they always have the one loss that can even it out. And they're saying, well, he's had that loss now. Let him carry on the run he was on. But I don't know, with Michael Johnson, he's got that one punch knockout power. And if he is up for it, and if he is motivated, he can beat, as you said, Tony Ferguson. He's beat them all. He's beat everyone you can mention in his day. Lost to some shockers as well, but he normally gets up for these ones. Normally these ones that he wants to prove himself a fraud. I don't know, Sam. That's why I stayed away. I think the betting wise, you've got to go Zellhuber, but if you take a Michael Johnson KO, you probably get some good fun odds that where I think that could also be likely. My next pick, Sam, it's round 4. Obviously, this is where it gets a bit fit, but I've got a confident pick here, and I've waited on it, and it's Dan 50K Ige, and he's against Patricio Pitbull. I'll start off with Pitbull. We last saw Pitbull obviously against Yair Rodriguez in his to the UFC fight. Didn't look impressive, got slaughtered by most. He looked slow, looked ploddy, looked everything you wouldn't want from a big fighter that's come from Bellator, 2-division champion over there, had all the hype and name, but I don't know, he's 38 years old now, Sam. He looks older. Like you said, he always had that style against some weaker opponents and had enough to win, but he's in the UFC now, and it's at 38. This is not a 33, 34-year-old Patricio Pitbull. This is a 38 one that's had his career, had his massive moments. I don't know how much more is left. Visually watching the Yair fight, I didn't think there were loads left. So I'm on Dan 50K. he's like Dan. He reminds me a bit of like Masvidal back in the day, where if he loses by these decisions where he doesn't have enough to get the win. But he's recently beat Sean Woodson. He's had he's lost to Laurel Murphy, lost to Diogo Lopez in 2024. So he didn't have the best of time. Beat Andre Wheatley, who I've always liked as a fighter, but then he just loses some of these decisions. But I don't think Patricio, in his 38 year of age, is going to have enough for Dan to squeak out this decision win and out wrestle him and out performing throughout a 3-round fight anymore. He would do back in the day. This was 4 or 5 years ago, obviously, as I said, Patricio all day long. But then feet aren't as quick, and I think Dan's a good fighter. He's got the knockout power. He's got great stand up, very slick footwork, very slick hands. And I think he'll have too much for Patricio. I think he might either get a finish late on here and put Patricio into retirement, or probably get a decision win where he just outdoes Patricio throughout the full fight with his energy, footwork, and much faster hands.
Yeah. Oh, okay, I've stayed away. That's another fight. There's a few on there that I've kind of just stayed away from a little bit. It's one of those, a bit like you said about Michael Johnson. You kind of think they're done, and then do they have a bit of a second win? Pitbull, obviously, the performance was dreadful against Yair. I don't know. I think it's an interesting kind of underdog pick if you can make the case for there was that wasn't Pitbull out there, whether it was octagon jitters, whether there was something else wrong. But like I say, Ige, he's just hard to beat. You've got to be, it's like a couple of names you reeled off there. You've got to be probably a real good prospect or a top 5 guy to beat him. And obviously, he's not a prospect. Pitbull, is he a top 5 guy in this division? Probably not, on what we've seen in that debut. So, yeah, Ige feels like a solid pick, but yeah, there's a bit of mystery around whether Pitbull can pull it back. So, yeah, I'll be staying away from that one.
It's round 5, Sam, and it's back to me. The snake draft has landed, and back to me, and we've left the big one. We've left the fight we've all been waiting for. Poirier versus Holloway. What a fight. We've already obviously seen this fight, and it's one that, yes, I would see another 10, 15 rounds of this fight. There is no hang-ups about having a rematch here, Sam. It was a fantastic fight the first time out. Poirier, in my view, that last one outsized him. I think Max actually had more output, if I believe. I should have wrote down my stats. I apologise, but I think he had more output, but Poirier's punches landed more heavy, more powerful, and throughout the 5 rounds ended up doing a lot more damage than Max, obviously, who was first time stepping up to lightweight, didn't seem to have that pop in his punch, didn't seem to have that extent of damage that could really slow Poirier down, which obviously, as I said, was the opposite for Poirier. Really did put a number on Max by the end of the fight, and you could see the power really made its difference in that 5-round fight before. You know what, Sam? I'm going. I think Dustin's still got plenty left in him. I'm going Dustin to win. I've changed my mind mid sentence. I think Dustin's got more in him. He's like his last fight was against Islam Makhachev in a 5-rounder. He actually looked okay. Had a good dig. Lost in submission in the 5th round, but before that beat Benoit Saint Denis. Got knocked out by Gaethje, obviously, but that was in 2023. Now he's slowed down his activity, but I think you've got to, when you've had as many fights and has had as much impact as Poirier has in these big fights, you can't fight as often, unless your name's Kevin Holland, but you can't fight as often, and I think that's a good thing. Max is coming off a brutal knockout to Ilia Topuria. Max has had so much damage. He's also put out the most damage, as you've seen Twitter. It's going viral. He's landed more significant strikes than the second place by 1,100 strikes, which is just incredible. So that's what you're getting with Max. High volume, a bit of knockout power. It looks like in lightweight when he puts that bit of size on. There's a bit of power as we saw him knock out Gaethje, but we've seen this one, and I don't think Poirier's worst days are behind him. He still looks sharp to me. He still looks powerful. I'm going with Poirier. Sam, I've changed. I love Max, and I've just said he's my favourite fighter earlier. But when they come off a brutal knockout like he did against Poirier, and he's back. I don't like it. It was in October. Yes, it's been a while now, so it's probably been enough time. But it was that brutal, wasn't it? That I don't know. Yeah, I'm on Poirier to win this, Sam. Sorry for going around in circles. I'm convincing myself. I love both of them with some fights, hopefully. But I still think Poirier's too big and got his stand up and his hands are good enough to match Holloway, where Gaethje is a bit more ragtag and got his own unique style that Holloway. If Holloway's a much better stand-up striker than you, he'll have his way all day long. Poirier's a brilliant boxer. I think he's got this, son.
I'm going to have to go against you, obviously, in this final round. And I'm going to, got to go for Max. Like you, love the guy, what he's done at featherweight, and the encouragement of the lightweight performances. I think is enough for me to kind of take him against Dustin. Obviously, as you mentioned, the kind of first for the rematch at 155 between these two was kind of short notice. Yes, for Max, didn't have the time to put on the size for 155. He very much was the featherweight champion at that point, stepping up because of the opportunity to do the double champ thing, which was obviously the kind of rave thing at the time to try and match McGregor. So he jumped up, he gave it a go. Obviously didn't have the kind of size there, and as you said, had the volume, had the kind of pace early rounds, but then Dustin size and conditioning as a 155er told in that kind of second half of the fight. So and then obviously we saw him have the time, the proper camp for Justin Gaethje. Follow Max's YouTube quite a lot, like his training videos that he puts out. Did things the right way with all his strength and conditioning for that fight. Then obviously the temptation was there to go and fight to Poirier. That was obviously a mistake, dropping back down. I thought he should have just left it alone at that point, stayed at 155 and had another fight. He'd just beaten Justin Gaethje. I think they did him a bit dirty in the rankings, that he only got some bizarre ranking in like 9 when he beat Gaethje, who was like 2 or 3. I don't know when you ever see that happen before, that a guy gets the win over the number 3 and goes in at 9. It's just ridiculous. So I think maybe if he'd have got higher ranking, he'd have stayed, but I think they did him a bit dirty there on that. So he took the opportunity to go back down and regain his title. Was a mistake for me, but I think now again, having the camp, putting on the size again. We saw the two. They had a bit of a square off the other day, a bit of a photo up. Dustin sized him up, had a feel of the arms and the shoulders. I was like, oh, Max feels big as he walked away from that exchange, and he does look big. And I think he's gonna get the job done here. I think we're going to see a different one. We've got the two narratives. I think no one's ever lost 2 trilogies 3-0 in the UFC. So Max trying as many good records as he's got with significant strikes and title defenses. He's got filled off an unwanted record this weekend of going 3-0 against Volk and Dustin Poirier. For Dustin, obviously, his final fight, BMF champion forever if he wins and walks away with the belt, puts that belt into some kind of mini retirement. So obviously for him in front of Louisiana fans, first time the UFC, he's been there in 10 years, and he's been very emotional this week. This is why I'm kind of like, my edge towards Max is just the emotion that Dustin's gone through this weekend. We've seen him on ESPN reading off letters from old managers, teammates, and he's in tears, and he's welling up at the press conference. He's welling up, weighing in with his glasses on. He's very, very emotional, and I think he's going to be emotional when he gets in that octagon later on this evening. Little Wayne walking him in, the crowd are going wild. I think it just might work against him just ever so slightly, and Max can just get a grip in the fight. It'll be a war. It'll be close, but Max has got more to lose. He's the one that's going to carry on in this. Dustin, I think if he puts in a unbelievable performance and they're hugging it out at the end of the 5 rounds, which I hope that's what happens. I hope we're kind of seeing the point down from Max. 10 seconds on the clock. They both swing away. They both survive the 10 seconds. They're both BMFs, and then they hug it out. Max gets the decision. He goes on for some big fights at lightweight, and Dustin goes out. Absolute warrior. Done everything apart from win the undisputed title in this sport. And he can go away with his head held high that he's put in an absolute war once again in his final fight in front of his home fans. And it doesn't matter, win or lose, he goes away one of the greatest lightweights that we've seen.
Like Sam, good case. I think it's going to be, like you said, I'm really excited to watch this one. I don't know, I'll probably have to set the alarm and wake up early, probably be about 5:30, 6 a.m. Nice early morning for me. But yeah, no, what a fight. The last one were a great fight. I know I keep repeating it, but yeah. I believe, Sam, it's final thoughts. Give me what you think of the card. What do you think of the picks? And we can run through them at the end for the people watching. And if there's any bets or any fun little things you've got, Sam, give us to them now.
Yeah, I just think it's a good card. It's one of those, I think, where you look at it and it's like, there's like kind of the standout like names and quality there, but we know that the main event's not going to disappoint. I'm intrigued to see Costa and Kopolov. We've not discussed that fight. We've both left that one alone. And that's another one that I've left alone completely this week. You never know what you're going to get from Paulo Costa. He's saying he's going to come for the knockout. So, that fight could be explosive. Kevin Holland, I think that'll be an explosive fight. Dan Ige against Pitbull. Again, we've got questions over that one. What's Pitbull going to do? We have the new blood in Zellhuber against Johnson, opening up that main card. We've been through that fight, and then we go down it and you've got, Vinicius Oliveira, great prospect. We've got that fight, bad blood between Vittori and Alan. Prado, we've not mentioned him. I really like Francisco Prado. I think he could get a standout win on this card. Taber Gautier, one for the UK fans, fighting out of Manchester. Looking forward to seeing him again. Hopefully he can get a knockout. And I think as we go down the card, there's a few more in there where there could be quite a lot of stoppages on this card. Obviously, your boy Bruno Ferreira that you mentioned before. I think this could be a card. I hope I'm not cursing it, but I think there could be a lot of stoppages on this card. I was looking at the fights and not necessarily mismatches, but people in different areas of their career where it's either win or bust, or it's a great opportunity for a prospect to showcase themselves. And I think there's going to be a lot of fighters taking that opportunity. Some of these prospects, I think, are going to shine on this card. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, that's what I like. I think it's the first time in a while where the UFC haven't compensated with it is a star fight, the main event, but I guess a big title fight with something else going on. They normally try to chuck a couple in now to build that. All the fights are just good fun fights. It's the one it's the cards I like more than anything. Where you look at them all and there's a lot of names in there that we're going to bring it, have a good time in the octagon. Have some laughs with Kevin Holland, Marvin Vittori, Paulo Costa. There'll be some daft moment, but then there'll also be some incredible, like you said, a few future stars, hopefully, a few legends of the sport. Michael Johnson. It's a well-rounded card for the first time in a while. It's a very well-rounded card, and yeah, really excited for it, Sam. It's on record if I do fall asleep, but hopefully I get the start and back end of it, and then I'll watch the middle few in the morning after. But yeah, no, excited, Sam. Please take me through your picks one last time.
So I went Vinicius Oliveira, first round pick. Taber Gautier, Manchester top team, looking for a second win, second knockout. I think he's going to get it. Kevin Holland, the mythical 170 king, is back 42 days on. I think he's going to get a good win over D-Rod. Daniel Zellhuber to defeat Michael Johnson. Again, a prospect versus a veteran. Really interesting fight, that one, opening up the main card. And the blessed era continues. The BMF will be retained, which again, that'll be the first time it's been defended. So Max has got that two narratives going into this. One terrible, losing 3-0 twice, defending the BMF for the first time successfully is the positive. So Max Holloway in that 5th round.
Brilliant. Yeah, I've got Bruno Ferreira, bet of the day. Get him to finish by KO, TKO. I think that shouldn't be a guarantee, but I'm pretty confident on that one. Islam Dulatov, the man who got a highlight reel elbow in the Contender Series, coming to fight Adam Fugit. Marvin Vittori, the Italian dream, is I think, like I said, I actually like watching him. He's dopey, his things. Hopefully he wears his shorts inside out again or wrong way around, and we have some laughs. But no, he's tough as they come. We'll keep going all night long. Dan 50k Ige, his name's 50k for a reason. He's gonna go for the finish against an old Patricio Pitbull, and then the retirement fight. I've gone Dustin the Diamond to send it off with a big knockout. I love Max, absolutely love him. What a personality, what a good guy. That knockout last fight scares me. Sometimes you don't recover from them, Sam. And Dustin will look to make a big impact in his last ever fight. I've got no doubt he'll give it best go possible.
There we go. It's going to be a fun one. UFC 318 draft show in the books. Thanks as ever for watching. Give us a like, give us a subscribe on YouTube, and we'll be with you hopefully very soon. But the next pay-per-view is a huge one as well. UFC 319 DDP against Chimaev. So lots to look forward to. The cards are getting better. We're in front of fans pretty much every week. I think there's an Apex one coming up, but these fan cards are bringing the UFC back. We've got the vibe. We're loving it again. And this card should make us love it even more. Thanks for watching.